Most productivity videos overwhelm you with 15 steps, 3 calendars, and a million different things you need to know. I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm going to give you a simple 3-step system that's effective, easy to use, and will work no matter the kind of work you do. Step 1, capture. Step 2, refine. Step 3, accomplish. First, capture any important information or ideas from your work or personal life. Then refine by extracting the key points. Finally, you're going to take action based on what matters most. I'll show you exactly how to figure out what's important, extract the key points, and prioritize your actions. Plus, I'll share real-world examples of how I do this every single day. Let's get into it quickly. Step 1, collect. Your brain is great at many different things, but it's a terrible office. Yet most people try to balance a million different inputs in their head every single day. That's why the first step is all about capturing information and storing it in a way that's convenient and mindful. I'll explain what that really means in a little bit, but first you need to learn what kind of information is actually worth capturing. The world is drowning in distractions. Social media, entertainment, and news are all constantly fighting at war for your attention. So your brain is constantly overstimulated, making it impossible to distinguish what matters from what doesn't. So you can think of your brain like a computer. You have a set amount of RAM or memory that you can assign to your tasks throughout the day. The more information that piles up inside of your brain, the more you're gonna malfunction and mess things up. That's why you need a system for filtering out the things that don't actually matter. You need to define what's necessary in your daily tasks. Your deadlines, your reminders, your due dates, all those kinds of things. This will help you focus on what's truly necessary, but understanding what to capture isn't enough. You need a place to store it as soon as it comes to mind so you don't forget it. Apps like Notion and the generic Apple Notes both work, but some are way more convenient than others. Let me show you what I mean with this psychology hack known as the 2-second rule. If you can't write it down within 2 seconds, you're not gonna do it. Now, I apply this to the extreme with my note-taking methods. As soon as I go to the home screen on my phone, there's a widget right there that I can click and instantly jot down anything important. Now, I use TickTick because it lets me set due dates and write down any important information, and it's completely free. But you could choose to use whatever app satisfies your own needs. But just because you have the ability to write it down doesn't mean you need to. This is where most people actually make their biggest mistake. When you overload your brain with every single thought, you're gonna make worse decisions, struggle to stay focused, and get more stressed out. This is going to lead to you feeling overwhelmed just in step 1, and you'll never be able to even refine your information down. So you need to build what I like to call the essential filter. These are 3 questions you need to ask yourself before you write anything down. 1, is this actionable? 2, is it important? 3, will I actually use it later? If the answer to any one of those is no, you need to just let it go. It's not important or useful enough to be written down. So how do you take these scattered notes that we now have and turn them into something actually practical and useful? That's where step 2, refine, comes in. Not all information is going to be equal, so to make sense of it, we need to start by sorting it out correctly. We're going to divide everything into 2 categories: personal and work. This division is key because different types of tasks serve different purposes. Calling your grandma may make you feel better and make you feel more connected, but completing a project of work is going to advance your career. Now that we have the division out of the way, there's a question I have to ask you. Do you ever feel like you're doing a lot yet nothing's actually getting accomplished? If your answer is yes, this is where the Eisenhower matrix is going to save your day. The Eisenhower matrix helps you make faster decisions and prioritize quicker, so you're able to stay focused on what truly matters throughout the day. This simple framework helps you decide what to tackle first by sorting tasks into 4 categories. If it's urgent and important, do it immediately. If it's urgent but not important, delegate it. If it's important but not urgent, schedule it. Okay, that was a lot. Let me explain 3 reasons why this actually works. Number 1, it keeps you focused on high value tasks so your efforts actually make a difference. 2, it eliminates time wasters, which reduces your mental fatigue. 3, it prevents last minute stress by forcing you to prioritize beforehand. Task number 1 is finishing a work project. Now, this is urgent and important. A deadline is approaching and it directly impacts my job performance and career progression. Task number 2, study for an exam next week. Now, this is important, but it's not super urgent. Sure, this is super critical for my long-term academic success, but it doesn't need to be done immediately. Task number 3, respond to non-emergency work emails. Now, this is urgent, but it's not necessarily super important. It does need a response soon, so I can put in an automation and make sure that's getting done, but it's not going to significantly impact my personal or professional growth. And task number 4, watch a random YouTube video. Obviously, this is neither important nor urgent, it's just a distraction, but do not let yourself just never do anything fun. Just find a way to balance everything out. Now, that is exactly how I turn a flood of tasks into a clear, actionable plan. Instead of reacting to everything individually, you make a clear plan about where your time's gonna go. Now, the Eisenhower matrix may seem simple, but there's a few common mistakes you must avoid. Mistake number 1, failing to understand gray areas. Not all tasks are black and white. For example, studying for an exam becomes more urgent as the date approaches. You need to always consider the context so you can accurately place everything inside of your matrix. Mistake number 2, letting urgent but not important tasks ruin your day. Just because something is urgent doesn't mean it's important. For example, editing these videos is something that has to be done every week, but my time is probably better spent in idea generation and scripting phase. So you need to delegate where possible to free up time for more important tasks. Mistake number 3, not reassessing regularly. Tasks can change in urgency, so it's super important to revisit your matrix regularly. What was important yesterday may not be important today, so set aside time to revisit and review your matrix every single week. Now that you've captured the information and refined it, it's time to take action. Step 3 is all about execution, doing what matters when it matters. And the first thing you need to do is clarify actionable steps. Don't worry about the completion of the entire project. Instead, focus on the next step you can take. This will ensure you're always focused on what you could be doing rather than the grand scope of everything. It will also ensure you are focused on only what is inside of your control, not any external factors. Use methods like Pomodoro or time blocking to plan your tasks during peak energy hours and minimize distractions in your work environment. This will give you a great environment and a great plan so you can do your absolute best work. But don't wait around for the perfect conditions. If you only consider starting when everything's perfect, you will never start. This is known as analysis paralysis, and it'll cause you to never even begin your work. Instead, you just need to focus on starting. Just get the first 5 minutes done, even if you're only able to give minimal effort. Oftentimes, action brings clarity and progress, whereas waiting for everything to be perfect is just going to lead to procrastination. You also need to find creative ways to hold yourself to your progress. One of the methods you can use is called an accountability partner. This is just someone you trust and are comfortable with, and they will ensure you stay on track to completing your goals. Every time you fail to follow through, you need to give them an excuse or a reason. This will put pressure on you to stay on track because you don't want to be the one with a bunch of excuses. If you find you're continuously not following through with the goals you set, it may be time to review and adapt on your current plans. Review your progress and figure out what exactly is working for you. From there, make adaptations to better get yourself on track to achieve your goals. Remember to celebrate all the wins you have throughout the week, no matter how small or insignificant they may seem. Each win has helped you progress further, so they all need to be treated equally. Now you know everything there is to know about my simple productivity system that's helped me balance school and a full-time job. But if you want to learn more about time management, you need to go watch this video now.